So here is the thing, y'all. Happy New Year. God, I look like hell. Wow. Okay, we're gonna pull back a little bit. How do you feel about Cleveland? Um, this is my end of the year wrap up. It's New Year's Eve at about 11 o'clock. So we got about 13 hours left. 13 until 13. How convenient that was. So I wanted to do a little wrap up of the year theatrically. It was quite a year. No idea that it was going to be this busy, or that these shows would come into my life. Really kind of fascinating. I started the year off doing the Flower Mound benefit once upon a time, which was just great fun. It was a lot of fun to stand next to Kara Serber. It was a lot of fun to do that with Rick and with Doug and with Megan and Beth and Ryan and Andy and all those fun people. It was just, hey boys and girls, let's put on a show. And it was kind of the best of Flower Mound for the past 20 years, and I was honored to even be considered as part of that. So that was a lot of fun. And then went straight into another benefit, went into Broadway Our Way for my second year, and had an absolute blast. Broadway Our Way is a lot of work in a very short period of time, but is just such fun. And I got to do some great music last year. I got to do Matchmaker, and I got to do Big Spender, and I got to do Cell Block Tango, which is without question my favorite number I've ever done. And I got a chance to do that with great people, with Kevin Moore, and with Rick, and with Tony Martin, and with Jim Johnson, and with Jeff Kinman. So what would turn out to be his last public performance, I was a part of that. So that's going to always be special. But that was lots and lots and lots of fun. I followed that up with the regional premiere of Legally Blonde. And while the production values weren't there, it was the hardest working cast I think I may have ever worked with. They were all just so joyous and so much fun. And that's where I got to meet the Borge, who turned out to be one of the great new things in my life in 2012. Plus, I got a chance to work with Sarah Shelby Martin again. That never sucks. So that just was a lot of fun. And I didn't have a whole lot of work in that show. I had a great song, Blood in the Water, which I loved singing, even the time I screwed it up. And got to sing Gay European and a little bit of Legally Blonde, and then I was done. It was great. Couple of scenes. It's like the perfect supporting role. It's a lot of fun. Then from there, I ventured into something I hadn't done in 15 years, which was to direct. And my road to directing, Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, was an odd one. I had submitted for it originally and then pulled out because I was too afraid to try to do it. And Darius got the job. And then when Darius had to pull out because of some incredible opportunities he had over the summer, they went looking for a director, and they turned to me, remembering that I had submitted for it. And I hemmed and hawed and thought, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And I will go to my grave knowing that casting is everything. That a director, that half their job, more than half their job, is casting. And I was blessed enough to cast 6 incredibly talented, lovely, lovely people. Charlie Brown was... it was a joyous experience. It was a lot of work, and it was hard. It was hard, but it was such joy. And to hear them sing Happiness every night would make me tear up. They would laugh at me because I would cry, because I'd be so moved by Derek's Charlie, and Leah's Lucy, and Zach's Snoopy, and Kim's Sally, and Wes's Schroeder, and Connor's Linus. It just was an absolute joy. An absolute joy. It was a lovely way to spend my summer, and it brought me um, just a tighter bond with Kim. Then it brought Derek and Leah and Zach and Connor into my life, and Wes was already there, but it was very special. And and connecting with those kids on that piece is something that I will always, always, always treasure. It was amazing. I went straight in from that, quite literally, within the next week or so, into a staged reading of the play Eight, which is based on the the California trial against Proposition 8, which is the where gay people, same-sex marriages were legal in California, and then Proposition 8 overturned that. So this was kind of overturning that. So it was based on a court case and the private lives of some of the plaintiffs, and I got to play the judge. And it was a one night only reading, but it felt historic, and the fact that we as a community have made strides towards marriage equality since then, in this election, just made it even more poignant. So that was a joy, and it's always a joy to work for Uptown. And then I went in and went back to Lyric for the first time in 3 years, and did 1776 for Cheryl Denson, with a full orchestra with Jay Diaz, the incomparable maestro Jay Diaz, who conducts with such passion and such joy that it is quite pleasurable to be on the stage and watch him conduct. But 1776 it's such a glorious experience to be part of something that you knew was that good from the beginning. It doesn't hurt when you have people like Brian Gonzalez and Bryant Martin, who's new to this area, who did Oklahoma earlier in the year, and David Coffey in your leads, and Kyle Cotton, who was an absolute pleasure to meet. All of these guys, and met a lot of new people on this. That Randy Perlman, that I wanted to work with for 100 years, and then got to work with Shane Hurst again, who I've been working with on and off for 20 years. It was a glorious experience, and that dressing room was so much fun. It was so much fun, except for Mark Oristano, because he's a pain in my ass. And I hope you're watching this, Mark, because it's true. Just wanted to tell you that. And then I was done with the year. I was going to be done. And then Melanie Mason called and asked me to do Annie at Theater Arlington. I hadn't worked at Theater Arlington in about 3 years, maybe 4. And it's Melanie. And Derek and Kim were doing the show. And then I found out that Stephen Morris, otherwise known as Yakitori, was doing the show. And I didn't want to do it. It's Annie. I don't want to do it. But I agreed to do it because I thought it'd be fun to spend the holidays with these people that I love so dearly. And I was right. I got to work with Jenny Thurman again. Also as a butler. There's a theme there, Jen. And then Morgan Mason, who knew, and then the whole ensemble of people that I, in some cases, had met briefly, but didn't really know. And it was a bitch to get up. Oh my gosh, it was hard to get up. But once it was up, it was a joy, and people loved it, So I'm very proud that I did that. I'm glad that I did that. I'm not doing Annie again. I can tell you that right now. But it was a joy to do. So that was my year. 7 shows. Once Upon a Time, Broadway Our Way, Legally Blonde, Charlie Brown, 8, 1776, and Annie. Quite a diverse arsenal of shows this year. And very blessed to have done 7. I have 2 things booked for 2013 already. I will be returning to Broadway Our Way in just a couple of weeks. So come see us at the Kalita on the 17th of January for 2 weekends, 6 shows only. It's going to be a blast. And hopefully with a nice tribute to Jeff. And then I'm booked to direct again. I'll be directing Proof in early summer. So that ought to be interesting. Completely different. Couldn't be more diametrically opposed to Charlie Brown, but There you have it. So that's it, y'all. Have a happy, safe, wonderful New Year's, and I love y'all, and take care. Bye.